I've got Barbara with me. Hi, Barbara. Now, you are from, I'm going to pronounce it both ways, the SMPTE or SMPTE, as somebody know. Now, if people don't know anything about the organisation, tell us a little bit about it.
Sure. The SMPTE is the Society of Motion Picture and Television Engineers. We are an international professional association that really focuses on the quality of the motion image. Our technology, our engineers work in setting standards in that digital media space. And we also care about education, so we do a lot of industry education. And of course, we're a membership organization, so we have members around the world who interact and learn from one another.
Understood. Now, you mentioned standards and you also mentioned digital imaging in the same sentence. So what are the sort of challenges facing, we'll call it SMPTE for now, members today?
Yeah, well, of course, what you hear a lot about here at IBC, in fact, is 4K, UHD, and SMPTE just published a study group report about the issues related to UHD and what broadcasters need to care about as they're getting ready to embark on that path. It's technically very, very difficult, and there are a lot of issues, and so the study group, one of the things we do as a standards body is we analyze the problems and produce a study report that eventually will lead to standards being developed. So that's an important part of what we're doing.
So I'm going to go right to the base level. Why is it important that we have standards in these technologies?
Great question. Because it creates an opportunity for interoperability within systems, that broadcasters can rely on a certain set of standards, and it makes it a lot easier for manufacturers then to develop on top of the added value on top of that layer of set standards. So it facilitates interoperability and I think also leads to better innovation as a result.
Right, well, things are always moving fast in this industry, and they seem to have sped up as the years go by. Things are constantly changing. There's new products, new technologies coming out, which you have to look at getting standards on. What are some of the recent technology developments that are coming from the SMPTE standards community?
Right, so in addition to the UHD work, we're also very heavily involved, of course, in the cinema side. We're working on a file format, a master file format called IMF, which allows, in this case, studios, but also works for broadcasters to have a master format file so that they can then distribute out to many, many distribution channels, and so that's a major effort. We're also working on a work with advertising to create a standard for metadata around advertising as the adverts are placed into the broadcast workflow, which is a big problem in the industry as well. And then, of course, archive exchange formats. A lot of the work that we're doing now, of course, is very IT and software oriented. So we're looking more at technologies that help the broadcaster more in that IT space than the traditional hard engineering space.
So obviously you're an organisation, you have members, and those members can come from multiple areas in the broadcast industry, film broadcast. Which sort of areas are you seeing the most growth in these days?
Well, I'm proud to say we have about 6,000 members around the world. We're in about 65 different countries. We just started new sections in India and actually in the UK, interestingly enough, so we have a lot of growth in those two areas. We have interest in Southeast Asia and Singapore, also in Latin America now. So I think anywhere there's a strong media presence and technology presence, SMPTE will find a home.
Gotcha. And what is the benefit to being a member of SMPTE?
Well, of course, there's the physical benefits of receiving the journal, which is very well regarded, a technical journal, but it's also about the networking of interacting with like-minded people and the connections that you build when you introduce yourself as a SMPTE member. Many people actually will travel to different sections in the world and will join a meeting, and it becomes like a fraternity in a way. So you have that connection with a lot of other people. And then also participating in the standards process. It's really an important value that we bring to the industry, and members have the opportunity to participate in the standards process.
So if you're not a member now and you're looking to become a member, you're finding this interesting, how can you go about becoming a member?
Well, if you're at IBC, you can wander over to the Partnership Village where we have a stand, and my colleague Roberta Gorman will be happy to assist. But otherwise, you can go online to SMPTE.org and you can register and join right online. Very easy.
Barbara, thank you very much for giving us an overview on that. If you want to find out more about SMPTE, their website is, I'm going to ask Barbara again,
SMPTE.org. Very simple.
Very simple. We like simple website addresses. You can find them. That's the main thing. Go and have a look at their website, and they do an awful lot in the industry, a lot more than you can possibly imagine, and it will all be there on their website. Barbara, thank you very much for coming on.